Morning guys, how you doing? I'm Yalek. It's Thursday and we're gonna do War Factory. I wasn't planning on doing this on this account, so I've already scouted. So you see I have a Gren loadout, 6.2 Gren Med, and Universal Remote, because this War Factory, definitely a solo opportunity. You might need a bit of extra GBE to do that. Then again, we do have a GBE tribe, but if you're going heavy Zuka from about this spot, that's generally the standard play against this layout. Pretty good health on it today, around 600k, but no shield, so that's always a bonus. Now this is just all grapplers, and there is a grappler over here, unfortunately, and in the middle of the base, but I have the Grens loaded up because you'll see that this area of the world's pretty lightly defended, so as long as we stay inside of, let's see, well, this crate right here, and then these crates right here, then there's a whole bunch of GBE that we can free up over there, and we're going to use that to simplify this. In particular, we're going to use remote to simplify this, just so that the core hit will be more accessible. So there are a bunch of lasers around. They're laser beam 2s. If you were so inclined, I guess you could spend an attack and probably BART out one of them. 86,000, 86, 87. We're not going to do that. We're not going to worry about it because there are a bunch of other things to hack. We can get rid of this. I believe they're going to be 2 boom cannons, I think, that managed to range this plus a cannon. This will definitely die with multiple boom cannons facing it. We can hack these if we want. They're just surrounded by boom cannons. We can hack this. That'll die quickly. Can hack the mortar. It's just a whole bunch of things to hack. So we're going to spend a couple of attacks and see how much we can hack out. And in the meantime, we're going to try to BART this flamethrower. Still going to need a shock back here on the lasers. Technically, this might be a waste of time because we're going to need a shock there anyway. I'm just thinking simplify, make it easier. But definitely still going to need a shock behind. I'm just trying to make that simpler because that flamethrower is just, it stares right down the backs of your girls if you're using hookah there. So without further ado, first we hack like crazy, and we go from there. I have an idea. And let's see. Go like that. And I want to see how far away from this rocket launcher I can land Sparky while still, there we go. Alright, those boom mines do worry me a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. And I'm gonna go like over to there with a flare, because from there I'm thinking, well, she should automatically target that damaged shock launcher. There we go. But we're gonna get her into range to get the rocket launcher up against the wall, and we're gonna go like that, like that. Okay, I believe we've got both of those guys. She's not going to target the correct thing here, so we'll switch her over to this and just let her die. Oop, didn't even have the time for it. So let's see. Gonna BART on that guy, we said. Flare dead. We'll give it a second. Just so Grens don't go walking off into weird places, because that would be bad. I kind of like this setup. Didn't want to try my warriors today. This is not really a warrior day with all those grapplers around. Generally a thought when there's no shield, but maybe not today. Alright, medics, you gonna get ahead and do your job there, because we're kind of suffering a little bit down here. getting shot up by the machine gun, and the medics are just standing back there. You know, I am really getting to be much, much fonder of grenadiers lately. I've got to say this. Just been finding uses for them all over the place. Including on the account that I'm turning into a crab account, where it's pretty much everything is... Alright, we're going to cover those guys up because the grappler is going to see us. And then I think I'm just going to flare back here and dump this GBE very quickly. And retreat. So that we're not losing Grens, because Grens are expensive. But boy, that range does just make things wonderful. They even make tanks tolerable, I have discovered on that crab account that I'm making. Because the tanks themselves are boring, sure, but the Grens are just so zany to use. Actually, having a thought here, I might just go ahead with my Sparky plan as before and just drop a shock on this and then drop those Grens again and clean up a bunch of stuff and just gather GBE. Really just trying to show how, like, I would just make this as simple as possible. Other than the hacking, but you should have a couple of extra attacks if you mess up with the hacking, but you know, it's... I learned to hack on War Factory, so I don't really have a problem with it. And I think it's great. I think everybody should be hacking on War Factory, which is why I try to encourage it as much as possible. And she's going to select one of the damaged things around her, but we don't want that. We're going to give her a critter in there, though, because we are sitting right next to a flamethrower. And there's a grappler. Okay. And we're going to direct her up there. Where's she going? There are boom mines here. Don't love that. She should stop, I think, right at the edge of that smoke. Oh, wow. Spot on. Not going to double hack here, because I don't think we'd have the time to get off the extra hack for the mortar. I didn't see what she selected actually there. Tons of GBE for it. And she just barely, I gave her a full heal. I gave her a med kit there. She just barely had time to get off that hack before the lasers just torched her. Let's see, so we said we're going like that and like that. Okay. Tapping furiously to get those Grens down before the grappler turns. Just utter mayhem with these guys. Chaos. But in a fun way. So I'm not really sure what the purpose is here. I mean, we do want the grappler to be dead, but mainly just messing some more things up, I guess. Try to get something to distract the grappler so it's not just eating my Grens here. I think that boy is about to be killed by his fellows. I'm not really sure we're achieving anything here. I'm just going to drop this and go. We're losing Grens and getting deeper into this side, but I've just wasted all that GBE on shocks on the grappler, which is not dying. Wouldn't have minded the grappler dying, but... Oh, no, that is not the right button. My nice little resource base. So what are we doing here? Might be time for core hit. We have... So this is not a problem. Again, hitting from the spot that we identified before. We still have these two shocks on the lasers. There's one shock up here, and then since we're using hookah, everything to this direction will be defended. Probably going to throw a critter in there because you could lose like all of your heavies at once with this many grapplers around. And what's the beach like? well, it doesn't matter. We're still using hookah. So let's switch over. And not boosted 5/5 statues on this account, in case that makes a difference to you. I always used to, I used to watch the early crab videos, and I always marveled at how people were doing what they were doing, and didn't realize at the time that, the difference was that I didn't have 7 damage statues. I mean, also a skill thing in some cases, but mainly, I've never had 7 damage statues. Maybe someday. 5's great, though. 5 is really good. I like having 5. Alright, what are we doing here? So maybe, like, land down here. Possibly get up a bit of GBE diagonal path. Up to, like, this way. Wait, up to, let's see. Yeah, right there. And then we can take a straighter path over to... Oh, take it back. I'm going to diagonal path up to here because I want to be able to flare forward a little bit. So that the heavies step out front. We'll do that. Was that brick? Of course it was brick. I tried to throw smoke down there, it didn't land, and then I thought she would end up being safe. The flare hit, like, in the out of bounds area. So we're going to go to here, and then just flare down like that. Throw a critter in there. Not going to activate battle orders, because we don't have any. And we're peeking. Save up GBE for more shocks if needed, because it looks like they might be. Okay. Well, I mean, that probably would have been a little easier with brick, but just something to be aware of. She came off the beach on the edge over there, but the grappler that was still alive over to that side grabbed Azuka first, so I thought brick was going to be safe when that smoke didn't land. So just something to keep an eye on. If you do drop like that, your brick is going to be most likely at one of the edges, and you might not want to lose her like I did. Have a feeling like this War Factory layout should probably be... This should be a pretty good one this week in terms of people doing a bunch of different things. Grins and tanks are going to have a problem getting deep into this base, but as you saw there, with this grappler, just ended up being too much of a nuisance, so kind of a waste, but definitely good to start though. And RCZM, of course, if you're hacking appropriately, you remove the towers that are a danger to you. RCZM is probably an option for much of this. Just, managing to keep things shocked as you come into range of laser beams. Be aware of those. Definitely not barding those guys out. Those are 3s. These are only 2s. I didn't even notice that. And then, of course, there's always the solo approach, which would be... Let's see, solo would 1, 2, 3, 4 shocks if you do it my way. 6. Probably just 5 if you go... with the all-Zuka approach. So... And again, if you want to try the Warriors, but even I wasn't bold enough to try the Warriors this week, so that is up to you. Anyway, I've been Yalek. That was War Factory. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.